The movie starts with this chick B rushing into a cafe, begging the waitress to let her use the bathroom. But the waitress tells her that only cafe customers can use the bathrooms, so B has to buy something to use it. She looks back and sees a massive line of customers waiting to pay. B's begging the waitress to let her use the bathroom, then she'll buy something. But the waitress ignores her. Meanwhile, this guy named Ben is watching and steps in, pretending to be B's hubby and saying she can use the bathroom because he bought a drink. So the waitress has no choice but to let her use the bathroom. With this, B makes it to the bathroom. She dials up her friend to share that she's got a strong connection with a guy in the cafeteria. Sadly, in the middle of all the craziness, the B wets themselves and goes all out to dry it fast. B eventually gets it dry and casually leaves the bathroom like nothing even happened. B politely thanks Ben for his help and says goodbye. But as they walk away, Ben spots toilet paper on B's shoes, so he yells to let her know. B cuts him off and straight up asks if he's gonna ask her out. Ben's response is a definite yes. They have a super fun time wandering around, and their connection is so strong that Ben brings her to his place for an impromptu dinner. They got real personal that night. B talked about her career doubts and he spilled the tea about the wrench on his shelf. Ben admitted that his mom gave it to him because she thinks anything can be fixed, no matter how messed up it is. They were really hitting it off and ended up falling asleep on the couch, but nothing happened. The next morning, she wakes up and decides to sneak out of the apartment without saying bye. Ben gets super mad when he realizes B left. She calls her sister Ollie on the way and spills the tea about meeting a hot guy and having a blast. B's sister is like, "You shouldn't have left without saying bye. You should go back to Ben's and chill with him for the rest of the day." B goes back to Ben's place, but is shocked to hear him and his friend Peter talking about her, calling her clumsy and boring. Getting rid of her was a weight off his shoulders. When B heard that, they were totally shocked and left with a broken heart. 6 months later, Ben and his friend Peter hit the club. That's where Ben meets Claudia, who is with Ollie, B's sister. Guess what? B is at the nightclub and can't believe she's seeing Ben after 6 months. B is totally mad at Ben because she didn't forget what he said about her, and he's also pissed because she left without saying anything. They don't really want to see each other again and just want to get through the night and be done with it. Turns out, Claudia and Jaylee are getting married and they're invited to the party in Australia. Ben jumps on the plane and guess what? B is there too. While the boy was chilling, B attempts to snatch a cookie but gets stuck in the seat. She tries all the moves and thankfully escapes without waking up Ben. He couldn't see or hear anything because of the blindfold and headphones. When they get to Australia, someone greets them and says they'll all be staying in the same house, which annoys Ben and B. Ben is in for a surprise when he finds out his ex, Margaret, is staying with them. Now he has to deal with her. But B needs to be patient with her parents who are pushing her to get back with Yonatan, a guy she knew when she was younger. B's probably feeling super awkward right now. At night, Ben and B start playing around, fighting over a firework, but it goes haywire and blows up, almost ruining everything.
Sorry.
Claudia and Jaylee don't want their wedding to be messed up, so they're gonna give it a shot and try to make peace to avoid any more drama.
Oh God, they got to you too.
They figure out the plan, and in the middle of everything, B is totally shocked to see that her parents brought her ex-boyfriend, Jonathan, to try and get them back together. This is a problem because she's decided they're done for good. She tells Ben to act like they're together so people stop bothering her and linking her to her ex. Plus, it's thought that this could help Ben out since Margaret might get jealous and start liking him again. They both agree, and now they're all lovey-dovey to get people's attention and show off their love. When Ben gets home, he teaches B's dad how to dive, and it totally makes the girl happy and grateful. And as if that weren't enough, B takes advantage of the situation to convince her parents that she's actually in a relationship with Ben, so they'll lay off about her ex. They're great at pretending, and everyone buys it, even holding hands. The girl's parents are stoked that she hangs out with her ex and they get along so well. Meanwhile, Margaret, Ben's ex, comes over and starts flirting with him because she's jealous of B. Ben, being really clever, goes to tell B the plan is working, so our protagonist calms him down as she sees him all nervous, and they come up with a new plan to keep making Margaret feel jealous. In the afternoon, the whole fam gets ready for a walk, and when B shows up, she stuns everyone with her dress. The main characters hang out with their exes, chatting and flirting a little. Ben wants B to dance with him because they're an amazing couple. When B finds out that everyone is going to the deck to toast, she decides to reenact the famous Titanic scene. She's convinced that this will prove to her family that they're not pretending, and it will make Margaret even more jealous. They totally achieve what they want. However, when they're heading back with the others, B falls overboard and Ben jumps in to save her, but the ship drifts away and they're stuck. When their relatives see what's happening, they get scared and call for help because it's the only way to assist them. In the meantime, Ben and B swim over to a nearby buoy and find solace there, feeling really scared and all by themselves. While waiting for help, they have a chat about when they first met and say sorry to each other. Ben for bad-mouthing her and B for leaving without saying bye. Just as they were about to lock lips, the saviors came to their rescue. Ben's terrified of heights, but B soothes him by singing his favorite plane travel song, which totally relaxes him and helps him forget all about his fear. Our Sigma bros head back home, unable to keep their feelings for each other under wraps. They spend the night together and Ben decides to make his exit while she's still snoozing. Finally, the big day is here and everyone's getting ready to make sure everything's perfect. Ben and Peter are heading to get the flowers when Ben tells Peter he's confused because B dropped out of school and seems unsure about what she wants to do. B and Margaret are on cake duty. When Ben's ex asks B if their relationship is serious, B says it's not. They're only together for some reason. Margaret is thrilled to hear this and is now set on getting Ben back. When B gets back, her parents are already aware she bailed on school and it's a big deal. B flips out on Ben because her parents found out from him, so in the middle of the fight, she spills the beans that they faked being a couple to get her parents off their backs. The pet ruins the cake and it totally bums out the brides. Eventually, they start getting ready for the wedding. Ben watches the brides argue and start to doubt if getting married is a good idea at that moment. This totally stresses out Ben because their arguments are totally ruining the wedding. Ben apologizes to the brides and everything goes smoothly. Our main characters can't take their eyes off each other during the mass. At the reception, the newlyweds get down on the dance floor and cut the cake. B chats with her parents, apologizing for not giving them a heads up about her decision to quit school. They make peace and relax. Meanwhile, Margaret grabs the chance to dance with Ben and spills the tea about breaking up with her boyfriend. She confesses she's still head over heels for him and wants him back, then plants a kiss on him. When B sees what's happening, she gets sad and decides to take a walk to clear her mind. Ben breaks the news to Margaret that his feelings have changed and says sorry. Ben hears people talking about him and B and he's like, "Can you please stop?" He learns B left the party after seeing him kissing Margaret. Ben, taking some advice, decides to go look for B, dives into the sea to get rescued and quickly reach his destination. Our protagonist goes running over to her and blurts out that he doesn't want to be with Margaret, he loves her and only wants to be with her. They headed back to the party after sharing a sweet kiss. Turns out Claudia and Jaylee faked their fight just to make B feel guilty and make up with him.